대한민국 축구팬 여러분 안녕하셨습니까? 대한축구협회 주최 클린스만 감독과의 대화의 진행을 맡게 된 한준희입니다. 클린스만 감독이 물론 기자회견장에서 여러분들에게 이제 여러 가지 이야기를 하기는 했습니다만 시간적 제약들로 인해서 보다 디테일하고 다양한 이야기들을 못 나눈 면이 없지 않아 있기 때문에 오늘 또 제가 클린스만 감독을 모시고서 또 여러분이 궁금해하실 만한 여러 가지 것들에 대해서 대화를 나누어 보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 이제 한국에 오신 지 이제 석 달이 됐습니다. 뭐 길다면 길고 또 짧다면 짧은 시간인데 지금까지의 대한민국에 대한 어떤 인상이랄지 한국어도 어학당도 다니신다고 하는데 한국어 좀 배우신 게 있는지 한번 여쭤봐 주시죠.
My first class is like 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
No, I feel very happy here. The people welcome me in a very, very nice way. And the federation as well, with everybody working at KFA, is a very positive atmosphere and a very ambitious atmosphere. So I want to do well. And we set our big goal for this year is at the end of or the beginning of next year to win the Asian Cup. So it's a lot of work, but it's very enjoyable.
혹시 좋아하시는 한국 음식이 생기신 게 있는지?
All the dishes. I love Korean food. I'm kind of a globetrotter, so wherever I lived, I adjusted to the food and the culture of that place. And so I love Korean food, I love Asian food, but I also love Italian food. Or sometimes I miss a little bit the German food. Just like an adventure to be here in Korea, be in Seoul as a cosmopolitan city and enjoy the food and the people every day.
역시 이거는 이제 우리나라에서는 상당히 또 일반적인 자주 나오는 질문인데 분데스리가 시절에 차범근 선수에 관한 어떤 생각은 어떻게 갖고 계신지 묻고 싶습니다.
Well, when I grew up, I was obviously Jabum is a little bit older than me. I was a big admirer. His desire to score, his grit and his dynamic and his speed. It was for us German. It was just a completely different type of a striker, and so he has a lot of German fans still today, and admirers. And when I watched him as a younger player, I said this is a lot that I can learn from Jabum.
이제 선수 시절에 관한 질문을 조금 드려보겠는데요. 슈투트가르트에서 이제 어린 시절부터 선수 생활을 했던 것으로 알려져 있고 언제부터 각광받는 공격수로서 부상하기 시작하셨는지.
I was very fortunate to grow up in a nice area like Stuttgart, where usually the world famous Mercedes-Benz and Porsche cars are coming from. So that's my hometown. I signed a professional contract at the age of 16, or better, my parents signed the contract because I was not allowed to sign the contract. And then I played 2 years in the second division, and then I moved up to the first division. And every year I learned more and more. And so a lot of people saw that, oh, he might be a bit more special or better. And so he will go on and play for Germany one day. And I had very good coaches. I was very fortunate there too. And one day, one of my coaches came and said, "You have to leave." I was kind of surprised because I thought he wanted to keep me. But he said, basically, you have to leave and go to Italy, where the best players in the world play in the 90s. And I was like Maradona, Careca, Matthäus, Van Basten, Gullit. They all played in Italy. So I went from Stuttgart then to Inter Milan. And this move was probably for me the most important move in my life because I left Germany and I had to learn to play football in a different country, in a different environment, and I had to learn a different language. And so the biggest learning curve looking back now at my career was the move from Stuttgart to Inter Milan.
클럽 시절에 관해서 좀 흥미있을 만한 질문을 하나 드리겠습니다. 클린스만 선수는 선수 시절에 정말 유명한 또 어떤 플레이메이커랄지 공격수 파트너들과 같이 뛰었는데 누가 가장 파트너 중에서 좋았는지.
So my best partner in the national team was Rudi Völler for many years, yeah, because we had a blind understanding for each other. And in my club teams, I was very lucky. At Inter Milan, I had Aldo Serena, Italian national team player. At Tottenham, Teddy Sheringham. And in Monaco, Yuri Djorkaeff. By Munich, I had Papa and Rizzitelli and Lothar Matthäus behind. And so I was very lucky when I look back at my career that I played with unbelievable players.
Arsene Wenger lied to you about George Weah? Is that true?
That is true, yes, yes. He said to me, "Oh, you have to come to Monaco and play with George Weah." And once I signed the next day, they sold George Weah to Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah, that is football. Yeah, I was very angry for one day. And then I
Just
said,
one day.
Just one day.
대한민국 팬들은 누구보다도 클린스만 선수의 위력을 잘 알고 있을 뿐만 아니라 월드컵의 어떤 국한된 견지에서는 동시대의 반 바스텐 선수보다도 월드컵에서는 좋은 또 결과와 실적을 냈던 선수가 클린스만 선수인데 이 스트라이커로서 대한민국에 이제 가르칠 스트라이커들에게 어떤 스트라이커의 요령이랄지 위대한 스트라이커가 되는 방법에 관해서 말씀해 주신다면 어떤 것이 있을까요?
Well, I think for a number 9 a striker, the main goal has to be always scoring. So you have to be obsessed in your brain and obviously through your body to score goals. You know, and this is something that we try to teach now the younger players to not get upset, to not get too stressed out when you don't score maybe for a game or 2 or 3. Just to keep believing in yourself, but also to stay very, very humble and hungry inside for scoring. You know, and I think a good example today is Erling Haaland. Haaland is a striker that is so obsessed by scoring that you can use him as a good example to show our Korean strikers, look at him, don't look back to us old people. No, to choose the examples of today and look at Haaland, you know, look at strikers of today or Mbappe, you know, use these ones to understand how difficult it is, but also how possible it is to score goals. And this is hopefully that we can emphasize with our players now to work going forward towards the Asian Cup and obviously towards the World Cup in the United States then in 3.5 years, that they kind of take those characteristics and start to score more goals.
이제 계속 아시안컵에 대한 강조를 해주셨는데 이제 클린스만 감독의 감독 시절 이야기로 좀 넘어가 보겠습니다. 많은 팬들이 사실 뭐 어느 정도 알고 있지만은 감독으로서는 좀 좋았던 시절과 안 좋았던 시절을 좀 오르락 내리락 하셨는데 가장 큰 어떤 근원적인 원인이 있다면 어떻게 생각하시는지?
No, I think that football is like every day like a life lesson. You know, it's a learning curve. You learn every day. As a coach, you learn. And I had wonderful coaches, as I said before. I had Beckenbauer, Trapattoni, Menotti, Ardiles. So you learn from all these coaches. How would they work in moments of stress or moments of difficulties? And then you accept challenges with all the different facets. So a challenge when I coached Germany, for example, or I coached Bayern Munich, were different to the challenge of Korea today. I have different challenges here with Korea towards the Asian Cup than I had with the United States towards the World Cup in Brazil. But the learning curve is always there. Every day you learn. You make mistakes and maybe people criticize you, but this is part of football. I'm very much influenced by my own life. I like to attack. So my coaching style is a bit more risky. And when you take risk, you will get some lessons. You know, you will get some defeats. And when you get defeated, you get criticism, that's life. It's okay. But I think it's important that when you have negative moments in life, that you learn, that you take them as a positive. So for me, there's no such thing as failure. Failure for me is life.
클린스만 감독의 감독 커리어에서 그래도 가장 빛나는 순간이 있다면 그 2006 월드컵 3위의 순간입니다. 그런데 그 2006 월드컵에서 맡았던 그 독일 팀에 대해서 지금 어떤 평가나 어떤 인상에 관해서 말씀을 좀 해주신다면.
German team became a mirror picture of the German society in 2006 because the way we played the tournament was taking all the emotions from the fans into one pot. So we call it, looking back, we call it a German fairy tale story because it was a very young team. So the team was not mature enough yet to win the World Cup. It took 8 more years for this team to win 2014 in Brazil. But we built the foundation for that World Cup team 2014 in 2006. And it was the first time ever that we Germans felt very, very proud of our team again. And we were courageous enough to put out our German flags in 2006 or at the same time. So in a certain way, it became a sensation of togetherness. The whole country, the fans, politicians, economists, it doesn't matter, teachers, schools, everybody felt very proud of their young team. And everybody was okay that we only finished third, not first. And today I still talk to my former president of the country, Angela Merkel, still today, because she always said that 2006 changed the face of Germany through football, through the tool of football. And this was something that we are very, very proud of, even if we didn't win the World Cup.
일단 2014 월드컵에서는 2014 월드컵에서는 엄청나게 성공을 거두셨습니다. 그러니까 낙아웃 스테이지에 진출을 하셨고 2016 코파 아메리카 센테나리오에서도 또 세미파이널을 진출을 하는 그 2014년, 2016년까지는 참 좋으셨는데 이후에 그 미국 대표팀에서 약간 또 하락세를 겪으셨어요. 어떤 그런 원인은 어디 있으신 것 같은 생각을 하시는지.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the coaching in the United States, because the United States is like my second country, because my wife, she's American, and I live in Los Angeles since 25 years. It became my second home. It was absolutely wonderful time to have with the US team and to kind of elevate every year a bit more the level of the game in the United States. We had a World Cup where we came out of the group of death, you know, against Ronaldo with Portugal and against Ghana, and playing Germany in the group, and then we hit Belgium, who was a bit better. But then, as you said, the Copa America Centenario, we came into the Final Four. That was the biggest success that the United States ever had in its history. And then I had, and that is a little bit my own personal reflection, is like I had in Munich and then in Berlin as a club coach. I had moments where I just then have different opinions than people that represent or the federation or the clubs, and then you leave each other. It falls apart and then you leave. But again, all the memories that you have are very, very positive because you share time together, good times and bad times, and you learn through those periods. And so I don't want to miss any of those moments, and I'm very grateful and thankful to every little episode that I had as a coach and also as a player, because I'm trying always to learn from people no matter where I am, and I know that I will learn a lot here in Korea now.
독일에서 정말 축구를 잘하는 선수들은 결국은 바이에른 뮤니크가 다 흡수를 하는 걸로 많은 또 우리나라 팬들도 그렇게 알고 있습니다. 그런데 이 클린스만 선수는 정말 그 당대에 정말 손꼽히는 몇 명에 포함될 정도의 당대 최고의 독일 선수였는데, 사실 선수 시절에도 그렇고 감독 시절에도 그렇고 바이에른 뮌헨 생활은 좀 짧은 편이에요. 그래서 그거는 왜 그랬는지 한번 흥미롭게 여쭤봐 주시죠.
Yeah, because as a player, when I played there for 2 years, I ended up in arguments. And as a coach, I was there 1 year, I ended up in arguments. Yeah. So there are places or moments in your life where you enter an environment and you feel like I don't really match it. It's not me, you know, and then I'm kind of a very stubborn person and I think I can fight that and with every fight it makes it worse. Yeah. So then it's better you leave that place, and it's better to part ways because you don't match, you know. And as a player, it was really interesting because I scored a lot of goals. I won the UEFA Cup, I won the German title, and it was successful. But I said, I don't belong here. And so I come from a different neighborhood in Germany than Munich, and I adore Munich because Munich is a beautiful city. But I didn't match the people. And so there are spots that you go through the world and you realize, yeah, I match here, like, but I don't match there. And for example, in my playing days, I matched 1000% Tottenham, the neighborhood of Tottenham, because very simple, humble people, hardworking, and they want to attack in football. So I matched Tottenham. I was in Tottenham happy every day. Even if we lost games, I was still happy. And then you go to other places and you realize, no, I don't match maybe the city, I don't match the people really. So the biggest challenge for me now here in Korea is I have to adapt myself to you, to Korea, Korean people, to ways you doing it, and hopefully I can learn this as quickly as possible.
이왕 말이 나왔으니까 짧게 선수 시절 흥미로운 질문 하나 하겠습니다. 방금 전에 이제 스퍼스 토트넘 시절 얘기를 하셨는데 처음에 잉글랜드에 가실 때 클린스만 is diver, worst diver 그런 이야기를 많이 듣다가 이제 토트넘 팬들의 사랑을 또 한 몸에 받는 쪽으로 이제 변화를 일으켰는데 그 당시 얘기 잠깐만 들려주시죠.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience because I was surprised about the diver story too. And then I asked a friend, you know, what is happening? Why are they talking like that? And he said, they want to provoke you. That's English humor. You know, you have to come up with a bigger joke than they now say. And so for the first game, when we played in the Premier League, my first game, we came to the stadium in Sheffield, and thousands of fans outside for the bus were waiting, and they put up signs, 5.8, 5.7, 5.9, and my whole team was laughing and said, Jürgen, it's all for you. You know, they give you notes on how you dive. And I said, this is crazy. And then my teammate Teddy Sheringham said, I have an idea. You score a goal today in the first game, and we all gonna dive. And so that's what happened in this game. I scored a goal, and we won the game, and we all did the dive. And it was my way, or our way, of responding to the fans. And the nice thing was that the fans then said, oh, look at this German, he can actually make fun of himself. So with this dive, I basically won over the fans. And then obviously as a striker, you win over the fans, the more goals you score. And I scored quite a few ones.
이번에는 흥미를 좀 돋우기 위해서 깜짝 퀴즈를 클린스만 감독께 드리겠는데요. 자, 이게 있습니다. OX. 저희가 지금 그 6월 4일 일요일에 지금 촬영을 하고 있는데 이제 좀 있으면 UEFA 챔피언스 리그 파이널이 펼쳐집니다. 맨체스터 시티 vs 인터 밀란인데 인터 밀란은 클린스만 감독의 전 소속팀입니다. 자, 인터 밀란이 맨체스터 시티를 챔피언스 리그 파이널에서 꺾을 수 있다고 생각하시면 O, 없다고 생각하시면 X입니다.
Yeah, because Inter has nothing to lose. The favorite, more favorite is Manchester City, because Manchester City has a great team at the moment. But Inter is very dangerous when they basically can sit a little bit, can let the other team play, and then come and attack you. And so, because they have nothing to lose in their minds, they are maybe more free. And because I'm an Inter Milan person, I have to be with Inter. Yeah, I have to.
감사합니다. 감사합니다. 클린스만 감독의 어떤 지도 철학, 축구관에 관한 이제 질문을 좀 드리겠는데 최근에 유럽 축구에서 좀 전술적으로 흥미롭게 눈여겨보고 있는 클럽 팀이 있으신지 한번 여쭤봐 주시죠.
Well, I think a team is always a reflection of its coach, of its way of looking at football. And because I'm a former striker, by nature, I'm more attacking minded. I more want to go forward. I don't want to sit too deep and wait and then just a counter break. So when I look out at all the clubs, and see them play, where would I see myself most connected? Maybe Jürgen Klopp with Liverpool, because we are very similar characters, and I love his style, how he played it with Liverpool over the last 7-8 years, and so I adore it. But obviously, when you are a bit more attacking minded than defensive minded, you are a little bit more risk taking than not risk taking. So I'm a bit more a risk taker.
대한민국에 이제 오시면서 또 풍부한 코치진과 이제 동행을 하고 계신데 그 코치분들에 대한 간략한 소개를 여기서 좀 해주실 수 있다면.
Yeah, I mean the coaching staff and everyone around the national team is very, very important. Every single person, because you as a individual person, you're only as good as the people around you. So I'm very privileged to work with Andreas Herzog, who played with me at Bayern Munich. He played more than 100 caps for Austria. He was a head coach himself. He coached Israel, for example, very successfully. He coached the under-21 in Austria. He coached the under-21 team in America. And he's a wonderful character, very positive-minded person. Andi Köpke, the goalkeeper coach that I brought with, was 17 years the goalkeeper coach for Germany, with me in the beginning for 2006, and then with Joachim Löw for other long time. Won the World Cup in Brazil as a goalkeeper coach, won the World Cup as a second goalkeeper in Italy in 1990, so very experienced. And I have a person like Paolo Stringara. He's a coach from Italy, was my team at Inter Milan, and has all coaching credentials and very experienced tactician. Very, very smart in the way he reads players. So he was often in Napoli to watch Min-jae many, many times now. And so I always try to work with people that in their strengths have more to give than I have. So I can only improve if I have people around me that do things better than I do. Otherwise, how can I then learn? And so I always try, it's like what I have Joachim Löw, who won in the World Cup with Germany, was my assistant coach. But he was more than an assistant coach because he already was a head coach. My first coaching role was Germany with no experience, zero experience. So I brought on board people that have more experience, more knowledge, and I learn from them every day. And then I hope I can get more knowledge every day I work.
K리그 경기를 이제 어제도 보고 오시고 이제 K리그 경기를 지금까지 꽤 여러 경기를 보셨는데 클린스만 감독의 공격적인 축구를 지금 K리그에서 가장 잘 해내고 있는 클럽, 뭔가 좀 플레이 스타일이 마음에 드는 클럽이 있으신지요?
Yeah, it depends on the game. So not every game, but I think, Myungbo with Ulsan Hyundai at the moment tries to play forward, tries to play, attractive football and score, even if they lost yesterday. But in general, they try to do that style.
지속적으로 이제 아시안컵의 중요성에 관해서 클린스만 감독 본인도 너무 잘 알고 계시다는 말씀을 하고 계신데 이 과거에 또 이제 우리가 아시안컵을 우승을 잘 못했던 그런 역사들을 보면 약간은 아시아의 다른 팀들에 대해서 조금 분석이 철저하지 못하지 않았나라는 생각을 후회를 했던 그런 대회들도 여태까지 꽤 있었기 때문에 그런 부분에 대해서 이제 어떻게 상대 팀들을 철저히 분석을 하실 것인지를 한번 말씀해 주시면 좋겠습니다.
Well, there are definitely two facets to prepare for a tournament. Is the knowledge you build about your opponents, obviously, and we will get that knowledge. And today, it's easier to get that knowledge with technology to be well prepared for every opponent you face in the Asian Cup. But also, the other facet is how to prepare your own team and how to prepare their mindsets, to how to be successful in a tournament. And I think a tournament has a lot to do with confidence. If you want to win a tournament, you have to tell yourself now already today that you are capable to win the tournament. There is obviously a difference between confidence and overconfidence. So you should not have too much confidence, like we Germans sometimes have too much confidence and then we get knocked out, like Korea did in Russia. Yeah. But in general, when you go in a tournament, your team, everyone working with the team, with the fans, with the media, with the people behind, need to have the confidence and also the courage to say, we go to Qatar to win. We go to Qatar to be in Qatar until the very end of the tournament, and not only quarterfinal or semi-final. We want to go into the final, and if we get into the final, hopefully, then we want to win the final. This is a mindset. So this is a psychological aspect of tournaments, which is very different to when you play qualifying games or you play friendly games. A tournament has its own rules. It's a little bit like, the championship has different rules than the cup competition. Champions League is different to the domestic competitions. And so if we find this right balance of being ready mentally and also being very, very hungry and ambitious with the team, every single player, the coaches, everybody working together with the fans and with the media, then I really believe that we have the quality in the Korean team to win this title. Yes, I do believe that.
지도 철학 가운데 조금 이제 가벼운 질문 하나 드리자면 어떤 감독들은 이제 선수들을 소집했을 때 선수들의 어떤 일상생활이나 사생활적인 이런 부분을 좀 제약을 많이 하는 감독이 있는가 하면 클린스만 감독은 좀 듣기로는 선수들에게 생활적인 면에서는 조금 자율성과 자유방임을 하는 유형이라고 저는 듣고 있는데 그 클린스만 감독이 선수들을 풀어줄 수 있는 자유롭게 해줄 수 있는 한계는 어디까지인지 한번 여쭤봐 주시죠.
There are no limits because they are adults. They are adults. They are married. They have children. Some don't. For me, the most important thing is they're on time to the training session, to the meetings, and here and there we eat together. But if they want to eat in somewhere else, they can go outside and eat. I treat my players as adults because they need to be responsible for their lives on the field and off the field. If I treat them off the field not with the same responsibilities, then I cannot expect them to take responsibility on the field. So I think this approach for me over the last 20 years has been very positive, because when you give the players the freedom to live their own lives, to see their friends during the tournament or their families, their girlfriends, wives, and then they will pay you back that happiness because they are treated like responsible adults.
유럽에서 뛰는 한국 선수들을 이제 직접 현지에 가서 관찰하시고 대화도 많이 나누시면서 또 좋은 조언도 하신 걸로 알고 있는데 유럽에서 뛰는 한국 선수들과 나눈 어떤 대화 내용 여기서 조금 밝혀주실 수 있는 게 있는지요?
I mean, for me, it was wonderful to see Min-jae, for example, in Napoli, and to experience Napoli, the moment, basically the weeks before they officially won the title. So what Min-jae experienced now and what he achieved will always stay with him for the rest of his life. So he went through a big, big moment of his life, not only the career, which was wonderful to see that. Then obviously I'm a Tottenham fan. To see Sonny at Tottenham is very special to me, because the people in Tottenham always welcome me in a very special way. But a nice story was when I went to Kilmarnock in Scotland to see O. And he got to play 45 minutes and he worked so hard. But when he saw us in the stand right before the game, and my assistant coach Andreas Herzog, he was waving him. He was waving back from the field, and he was so happy that we were there. And the people in Kilmarnock, it's a very small town outside of Glasgow where he played, they couldn't believe it that we were there to watch basically Kilmarnock play Celtic. And so all these little stories, I think it's important. It's important then to go and try to see the players where they live right now, how their problems are and how they feel where they are. They have difficult times like Bouillon in Freiburg, for example, or then we go to Mainz and we say Jae-sung play Bayern Munich and he beats Bayern Munich. That's a big day if we played with Mainz as a smaller team, a club like Bayern Munich, and we were there and he was all happy. So I think the players need to understand that we coaches, we are here to help. It's a bit like a teacher role. You are here to help and to fix maybe some problems if they have problems.
나폴리가 우승하게 되면 대한축구협회 촬영팀, 인사이드 캠 촬영팀이 있는데 이 팀이 현장에 가서 김민재 선수 촬영하라고 했다고 말씀을 하셨는데
Inside camp, Min-jae, Napoli, 다녀와.
그 어떤 생각에서 어떤 아이디어에서 또 그런 제안을 하셨는지.
Because I hope that when people see through the videos and through the pictures, what Min-jae lives through in Napoli is something very, very unique and special that happens in the football world. Napoli is one of the most extreme emotional places for football in the world. And I played at Inter Milan many times against Napoli. Napoli is emotionally 2 levels above. And the only club I would compare Napoli in the world of football to is Boca Juniors in Buenos Aires. And it's not a coincidence that Diego Armando Maradona played for Boca Juniors and played for Napoli, because emotionally there's no other level above. And so I hope that you can show those pictures for Min-jae winning the Scudetto in Italy to the Korean fans, because it's very, very special what happened with Min-jae in Napoli.
대한민국의 축구 열기, 또 팬들의 열기도 뭐 유럽이나 남미 국가들 못지않게 엄청난 이제 열정을 지닌 팬들이 무수히 많고, 또 클린스만 감독 본인도 사실은 이제 여러 가지 이제 감독 생활의 또 굴곡 속에서 또 결과가 좋지 않았을 때 많은 또 팬들의 열정적인 비판에도 좀 시달리셨을 것 같은데, 만약에 이런 결과가 당장 좋게 탁탁 나오지 않았을 때, 그럴 때는 이제 비판도 어느 정도 들어올 것을 감수하셔야 되는데, 그럴 때 어떤 극복하는 어떤 본인의 어떤 노하우나 요령이 있으신지 한번 여쭙고 싶습니다.
I think that we are culturally, that we are very similar from the German and the Korean culture, that when we get criticized in whatever we do, we work harder. And this is when I get criticized, when we have bad results, then I work even harder. Then I want to turn it around, then I will do double as much work. And so every time, as I tell that players too, that if you don't score a goal as a striker for 4, 5, 6 games, work harder and it will come, it will fall into place. So criticism is kind of part of our life, but when it happens, then my response is always, okay, then I listen to it and I think about it, and then I work even harder.
마지막 질문이 되겠는데요. 아시안컵 그리고 저 월드컵까지 정말 중요한 미래가 남아 있는데, 우리 대표팀을 전체적으로 어떻게 이끌어 가실지에 대한 어떤 비전과 계획, 목표 같은 거를 좀 밝혀주시면 좋겠습니다.
My wish is that we develop a team, obviously to be successful. We want to win the Asian Cup, but a team that reflects your characteristics, your Korean way of doing things, in life too. I see a team that is happy to play, for the national team and be proud of what they're doing. That the team that is ready to work hard, because I work hard too, and that they understand that things are in their own hands, and then hopefully we can connect all the dots and play a style of football that people like, and bring success too. So the bigger picture is developing a team that is capable to go further in the next World Cup in 3.5 years from now than they've done now, even if they've done well. Don't get me wrong. But I really think that this team can go further than they ever done before. And that's I want to be part of that, and I hope that the players have fun to do that too.
여러분, 대한축구협회가 준비한 클린스만 감독과의 대화 재미있고 흥미롭게 보셨는지 궁금합니다. 마지막으로 인사말 한마디 부탁드립니다.
Yeah, giving this opportunity, I just want to thank all our fans for their interest and their patience and their support in leading our team towards the Asian Cup in Qatar. And our goal is that over the next months to get everybody behind the team, showing good games, maybe not winning all the games, but showing good games, and give them the belief, hopefully to come to Qatar, many fans to support us and go and try to win the Asian Cup after such a long time of not winning it.
오늘 대담 대단히 감사합니다. Thank you for your
Thank
precious
you,
time today.
Samania.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you so much.